What's up, everyone? We are back with some more modern action. I'm, of course, NanMans, bringing you guys all our modern action here every Monday, Thursday, and the sprinkling of content on Saturday as well. But Thursdays have become our go-to day for present-day modern, as Monday has become our flashback to 2015 era modern. So we've got this nice little, back and forth taking place during the week. And this time around, we've got some very popular decks in the meta. Jeskai Blink versus Izzet Affinity. So let's talk a little bit about each of the decks and get into the match itself. Jeskai Blink, it's known for being kind of the powerful, proactive deck existing within the Jeskai colors. So of course that is that red, white, and blue element there. So we get cards like Ragavan. We've got of course like the Kiki Fable of the Mirror Breaker. There we go. I was like, I keep on to think Kiki Jiki because it's the flip side, but no, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Flage, those are kind of like the red pieces that it's got access to. And then because it is a Blink style, we get access to things like Solitudes, we get access to things like Riddler, and you just sort of do these like efficient turns. Like right now we're seeing, okay, let's go in, push for damage, we'll make a treasure. Now we've got 3 mana, a little bit faster than most players are able to make 3 mana. Not like the Yawgmoth, like Badger Mole stuff, but at least, faster than most players are. So that's kind of the idea of the Jeskai Blink. The Izzet Affinity is one of the, if not the go-to affinity style or artifact style decks in modern presently. Now it's kind of gone through some ebbs and flows, and there are some tweaks and changes where players are testing out things like, should we use Emery, should we not? But really the idea is you're running a lot of zero cost artifacts. You're using things like of course, there's Prismatic Ending, going to get rid of that. We're not going to cast the Gix, so those will both get exiled there, not to be used. But so yeah, our Claws of Gix, Mishra's Baubles, all right, Mox Opals. You're seeing all these like zero cost stuff that can be utilized that will allow players to kind of snowball and be able to utilize like the weapons manufacturing, the pinnacle emissaries, things like that to kind of continue that advantage engine going in one direction, and then you like use a Kappa Cannoneer as the top end to kind of finish things off. And so Teferi is going to try to get cast here, and it's like, let's just go, and like there is the response, Metallic Rebuke. So doing a little bit of response, and so there is a little bit of like just kind of the, okay, we're rushing through the turns a little bit, but I think this is one of those important moments to notice. Like there is a speed that comes along with a specific deck, like a Blink deck or Boros Energy, or just like, yep, I've already got my lines figured out. This is the most efficient or speediest way to kind of progress my game plan, and you're sort of just going through it right here. Where the affinity list, we got to see it's got Metallic Rebukes, it's got a little bit control-y element, so there are those little pivotal moments there where you're like, okay, how am I going to respond? What else can I do to set up here, and how can I hold back maybe some of my zero cost stuff so then I can dump it into one turn and either utilize the Pinnacle Emissary, utilize the weapons manufacturing, set up for a Kappa Cannoneer. Like there's a lot of decision points that come along with this deck there. But Claws of Gix, of course, Mox Opal right behind it. Claws of Gix, really important. Like you have that, you've got like the of course Arcbound Ravager, these like sacrifice tools to utilize with the weapons manufacturer, because if the weapon manufacturer gets online, things can get out of hand so quickly. It's so snowbally. But speaking of snowbally cards, Kappa Cannoneer has just hit the field here, and so every time that we have an artifact enter that will put a +1 counter on Kappa Cannoneer, it becomes unblockable, and it also has Ward 4, so that is a house that is just kind of landed on the middle of the battlefield. So we will see a Jeskai Blink player not really having a way to respond here. So we'll just kind of pass back over. So, of course, if you guys are enjoying our content and coverage that we do here on the channel, please consider subscribing and following along as our adventures in the modern format, as well as just, Magic in general. We do have some vlog content we put out. Currently building a Pokemon Cube, so you can see some more videos of that, some NTGO content, so all kinds of goodies there to be able to enjoy and experience here on the channel. But looks like we are going to be going and making a construct here, utilizing Urza Saga. before it does its search effect here. So we'll see what sort of response our Jeskai Blink player has. I love the Scizor representing our construct token there. I mentioned like the Pokemon Cube we're building on the channel, but just little elements. Like, it's always cool to see what sort of tokens players have. You know, we do have the infinite tokens that we keep set aside for the tournament itself for players in case they don't have a token with them. But you know, these little moments here where it's like, nope, these are my tokens. So, you know, every time that we're going to be playing a specific card, we know what it's going to be. And Shadow Spear is going to get tutored up here. So it is very interesting to see what players like grab. Like, every so often we'll have those hardened scale players come to our shop, and you like see what they prioritize, whether it's going to be something like a Shadow Spear, a Zabaz, an Ozolith. Not really the same tools that an Izzet Affinity list has. So it's, you know, definitely interesting if you've been following a bit of the different artifact decks that exist right now and how players will go about it. But big punchies coming across for 7 damage there to be able to kind of try to kind of turn this match on the head there. A little bit of a fumble over the card, but that's okay. We knew which card was going to get peeked at utilizing the bobble there, but looks like we will cast the Emery here. We're fine with dumping those tools into the graveyard there, and sets us up for being able to replay some stuff here. End step, Felly is going to come. That means that we do have a way to potentially deal with that Scizor that's out the battlefield there, that construct here, which is pretty large, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5/5 is pretty good. But looks like could push for damage here. Yeah, blink the construct out of existence. That will, of course, fizzle and fade away. Will not be able to return as it is a token. Push for damage. Do we want to do some trading off with the Ragavan? I don't think it really matters. I mean, we have the Kappa Cannoneer. We could just equip it. All right, let's see what gets revealed here. We'll take the damage. That means we do get a reveal. Oh, Engineer Explosives. Does that help anything? Not really here. And we could set it for 1 if we wanted to get rid of the Shadow Spear, but that gets rid of our Ragavan, so I don't really think that matters. But let's get a Surveil here, see if there's any info we can get. Maybe. No. Nope. Is that the Ephemerate? One of the Japanese, you know, what is the Strixhaven cards called? I don't know. There's some new ones in the new Strixhaven that are really cool. I have started collecting certain cards just to have like in a binder and things like that, but I'm very glad that I did not decide to start collecting the Strixhaven one, because some of those silver art versions, the Japanese ones, are just so good. But looks like we'll scoop it up here, saying, yeah, there's not really anything we could do. It's like you basically just need an artifact here, like a few more, and I just immediately die. So yeah, we'll get kind of all set up. It's like maybe there's a line where I could set up with like a Flage and stuff, but it was just a little too late there. So you just needed 3 artifacts and I'm just dead no matter what. So, yeah.
We're interrupting our gameplay to let you know about our new affiliate with NerdGear. Nerdgear.gg/NanMan will take you directly to the website, and as you can see, they've got a bunch of awesome gaming accessories, from playmats, life counters with the life tracks, playmat holders, and more. So make sure you do some browsing on the site, find some goodies, and then use the code NGNanman for 5% off your entire order. But let's get back to our gameplay.
All right, getting back into it. Of course, we do cut out our sideboard action. Some of the matches we get to see a little bit more of. Sometimes the players will reveal a little bit of their cards. That did not happen this time around. So we just kind of cut out as they shuffle up and get themselves ready. And looks like we're going to be seeing... Oh, mulligan for our Affinity player here. Jeskai Blink player is going to be keeping theirs. Oh, and you can see some sideboard cards already in hand here to make things a little bit easier there. That, of course, being that wear and tear, if you guys caught that there. Not quite sure what else is in there. Looks like a Fable of the Mirror Breaker there. So a couple of tools there. I think that is important too when you're in that game 2, game 3, we're like, okay, what can I bring in to help me out here? Now, of course, if you're looking for some of these lists in particular, we do have them up on our Mox field. You can check the description to see that. And of course, if for whatever reason some of these lists that we have featured on the channel aren't ever on the Mox field, leave a comment, let us know, and we'll be sure to paste the link up, let you know, let you see what that is. But Arena of Glory tap, we'll start it off, pass it on over here, sort of land go mode taking place. All right, in the tank a little bit, sequencing was the debate it looked like there, but no, Steam Vents tapped, yeah, so just kind of both players just sort of, we're going to take it a little bit slow here in game number 2. All right, Urza Saga, very nice, that's such a good card. And weapons manufacturing. So yeah, we talked about how much of a snowball-y effect this can be, like, and there's the Claws of Gix. So, response to the claws. Get a Hollowed Fountain. Oh, okay. Utilizing the tear in response. Pop that out. So, no weapons manufacturing shenanigans taking place right now, sadly. And Fable to follow it up. All right, so now it basically, our Affinity player is kind of on the back end a little bit here, where they're like, okay, well, you know, at least I still have an Urza Saga, so we're on that, like, we're on plan C now, right? Plan, of course, A was to be able to, you know, utilize our weapons manufacturing and snowball. That's no longer going to be available to us. So now we have to kind of go the line of utilize our Urza Saga. But there is a couple of tools in hand. We see kind of this, like, again, in the tank thinking through and go, okay, like, key moments here. Like, I think those are those moments that matter a lot when you're running an Urza Saga deck is, you know, when do I progress my game plan with the cards that are in my hand, and when do I hold back and spend my mana to make constructs because I need to go into a pivot plan. And, like, finding those lines and figuring out is, you know, definitely something that is important. And looks like we are going to do Pithing Needle, and we'll name the opposite side Reflection of the Kiki Jiki there. Emery going to pop out here. Explosives is pretty nice. But yeah, you see that sort of, you know, progression of our game plan, not utilizing a construct there. All right, we will discard, draw an extra card off of the Fable. A little bit of some Cosmic Planes action from that unset. I can never remember which unset they all are. Like unsanctioned, unglued, and unfinity. You know, I always mix them up in my brain about which one gives you the specific land. But oh no, Clarion Conquer is huge. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. So that basically says, hey, everything that your deck is trying to do, you do not get to do right now. So we do have that pivot line now that we can make a construct. And we got to hope that we've got a Galvanic Blast somewhere that we can use. Let's see if any of them were brought in. We might get a glimpse, though, because that could be the other thing, too. Like, some players are playing a little bit more control-y, and some players have a little bit more of the, like, burn effects with things like that. Like, whip flares and things like that are decent, but it does, like, Clarion Conqueror being a 3/3, like, laughs at whip flare. Like, you have to have the, you know, Galvanic Blast. I keep wanting to say Galvanic Discharge, too, instead of Blast, but, you know, oh, okay, a little bit of Arcbound Ravager actions in the list there. Again, finding ways to sack our tokens, but you see this kind of, like, back and forth of, like, okay, what do I get? What is actually important? Like, all of the really good 1-cost or 0-cost stuff has activated abilities. Right? Like Shadow Spear from game 1, can't do anything about that because equipment can't actually equip. All right, Mishra's Bauble, even though we can't do anything with it right now, at least it's just like an extra artifact to make our construct bigger and maybe less of a beneficial card to draw later on. So we grab that over something else. But yeah, really, there's not much we can do in this sort of situation of just hope that our construct is enough. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's like, all right, let's use Emery. I've got some mana, so I can utilize my, you know, get back my Engineer Explosive. But it's like, oh, no, I have a Clarion Conqueror. That also stops creatures, not just artifacts and planeswalkers. And you're like, crap, you were right. So that is not available. But there we see the Kiki flipped. Prismatic Ending for 1 white to get rid of this 0-cost construct. Clearing the path, and now we can start bringing the beats there. 5 damage coming across. Make another treasure, and just sort of go this route. So yeah, even with this, like, this is that post-board stuff where we're like, yeah, we're fine. We're not going to do anything big and flashy. We're not going to be casting Flage right now. We're not going to be casting Solitudes. We're not casting Riddlers. We're just grinding it out with just low to the ground value engine stuff that shuts down your game plan, right? Like the wear and tear early on definitely helped that game, but really it's that like Clarion Conqueror shutdown mode that has really blanketed it. And it does feel a little bit like present day Modern has a lot of those types of cards. All right, there's the Pinnacle. Let's start snowballing. Tormod's Crypt. Make a little Wingull here, which is the drone, of course. So not bad. We got a little bit of, you know, creatures available to us. Wingull, of course, can't block. Discard to fairy, draw a card. All right, hard cast in the Solitude. Yeah, we'll scoop it up from there. All right, we'll do that. I like that. Said, okay, no more. No more. The Clarion Conqueror was enough. The Solitudes closed the deal there. Let's kind of set up and get ready for game number 3 and hope that, you know, our game plan is enough with the speed that we've got access to kind of deal with the shenanigans that the Blink player wants to do. But we will see here, because it looks like another mulligan's going to happen for the Affinity player. It's interesting to see, too, like, I know our Blink player here has talked about and has piloted Izzet Affinity a couple of times, but has also said they don't enjoy some of the mulliganness or some of the hands that just feel a little bit clunky sometimes. Like, there is definitely some clunk to the Affinity list, even though there's some explosive power that exists. So it comes down to that, is the clunk something that you can deal with or not, right? Especially if you're grinding out RCQs and things like that, which our Blink player is. They're definitely trying to look for the deck that they can play the most and grind the most with and not have to stress and worry about things like, you know, clunkiness or just lost hands, lost matches over things like that. All right. Is the 6 good enough, or do we have to go to 5? Looks like it's enough. Keep the 6, put that on the bottom. It looks like a weapons manufacturer is sitting up at the front, too. All right, Fiery Izzet. Oh, warping in the emissary. How much we dumping? Okay, 1, 2. Okay, not bad. Are we seeing a Kappa Cannoneer next turn? Maybe. Okay. Get a land, tap everything, play a Kappa. That would be crazy. All right, Ragavan again. Turn 1, Ragavan. Really powerful. It's such a good card. And, like, if you don't have the right stuff, like right now, going, well, my Wingles, a.k.a. my drones, can only block creatures with flying, and the little monkey boy over there cannot fly, so... Oh, okay. So we had a little bit of a speed mode here. Tempted to cast, so attack, main phase 2, try to cast weapons manufacturing, goes, oh, let's back it up. Was rushed ahead a little bit there, but I have an answer, I have a response, force negation, pitching to fairy to stop the weapons manufacturing, which again, that is a great way to attack the affinity deck, is let me stop these specific things that your deck can do really well. Weapons manufacturing, Kappa Cannoneers, things like that are the like scary things, right? Ursa Saga is also scary, but that's, the rest of the tools in the deck kind of revolve around those specific pieces, so you can kind of attack it in different ways. Or like when we have other decks like Hardened Scales, we go, oh, you have to be very mindful of the Walking Ballista, and you have to be mindful of the Arcbound Ravagers or the Inkmon. Like there's these specific things, but ooh, looks like we're gonna do a wear and tear to clear things up, and we got a lot of draws to try to rebuild our hand here. Oh, the wear and tear did so much work in game 2, doing so much work here in game 3, and now we're just in this. Here's a Wingull. Losing life. Going to 15. Ooh, another emissary. Tormod's Crypt. So 1, 2, just 2 more. Not bad as well. I mean, that life could be relevant for the Claws of Gix. Right now, we're only sitting on 1 land, though. A lot of Wingulls. Can't be blocked, though. Let's see what gets revealed. Oh. That is really good. Oh, no. That's... So, did you guys see the line? Our Jeskai Blink players confirming it and reading through it. There's only 0 cost artifacts. So it says, yeah, you just play it, pop it for 0, and my entire board is done. Oh, Engineer exposes, sack it, destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters. So you're like, yeah, I've got no charge counters on it. Oh, what do you have? A bunch of, 0 cost drones and a 0 cost Claws of Gix and a 0 cost Tormod's Crypt. So you have 1 land and nothing, and I'll just snowball this game with this Ragavan. That's enough. Right? Like, you've spent so many resources trying to rebuild off the Mishra Baubles, and it was not enough. But we get to see a bit of the sideboard here. It's like, yeah, I brought in 2 Mystical Disputes, 2 Wears and Tears, Force Negations, Wrath. Yeah, wow. So many things. Clarion Conquerors. But, you saw why, though, right? Like, the weapons manufacturing, things like that being allowed to stick around. We didn't really get to see it in this game, but it is so good at just taking over the game, because it's like, oh, the longer the game goes on, I now just have a pile of, explosives here. And each time one of these will go off, it's going to deal 2 damage. And if I have something like an engineered explosive of my own, I could just blow them all up at once and just take you out. Or use like an Arcbound Ravager and just, hit you with him and stuff like that. So like definitely some cool like lines with the deck, but it definitely felt like this match in particular was such a sideboard focus battle there, and the sideboard stuff had such an impact there. So I thought this was a good one to showcase for you guys to be able to check out, since it is such a important part of Magic, especially 60 card Magic, is learning the sideboard. But that's going to do it for us here today. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, y'all, and I'll see you all next game.